All right, hey you guys, what's up? I was gonna make a video to talk about stuff, video games that I picked up for August, and most of this that I have here is from a GameStop sale. Only about one or two of these games is not really not a part of the GameStop sale. I know that I think two or three of what I bought is still on back order and hasn't arrived to me yet, but I just wanted to go ahead and make this video. So whatever gets to me eventually, I'll just keep for the next video that I make. But the GameStop sale was games under 1999. You could get five for 50, I think is what it was. So basically, if you're buying five games at 1999, you would be paying $100, but the deal was basically 50% off sale. So a lot of this, what you're seeing here, minus at least one game I can remember. I got 20 games, and like I said, I'm not counting what I have here, but I think I'm missing a few. But out of 20 games, I got for basically around $200. So think of it as each one of these games was about $10, and some aren't really worth that. Like you can see, that Dishonored Death of the Outsider game and the other Dishonored game are marked at $9.99. So some are not. I mean, the average price is $10, but when you actually factor in what it was reduced to, I think the way the reduction was for those Dishonored games, rather than pay $9.99, it was it went down to $7.49 or $6.59 or something like that. And then when it was all total and then added up, it was around $200. So some were pretty close to 1999. And these are just games I was looking to try to pick up. It always makes me nervous as far as what I would get from GameStop. But I feel like the gamble was worth it in the end. I put in some orders like this over the last year or two, and I've usually gotten fairly lucky results. I would say these are fairly lucky results, because out of all of these games, only three of them were in generic cases, and that's saying positive to GameStop. You know, they're not all that bad reputation that they may have once have had with giving out those cases, and now they some of the games that I got are not as easily mainstream, I think is the way to say it. And so some of the games that are not as mainstream tended to be the ones that I did get cases for, and then the ones that seem to be ones that probably sell fairly well or were AAA games that were pushed by a bigger company like a Square Enix or like a Bethesda. Sometimes those games didn't come back with cases because people usually didn't trade them back in with cases. But anyway, I'm rambling here. Let's go ahead. Like I said, majority of these games are about a $10 games. When you average them out, Wreckfest for Xbox One. A lot of them I just ended up going with whatever I could get, and a lot of Xbox One games tend to be a little bit shy in price, a little lower in price than PlayStation 4 games. I don't really know why to explain that, but so I think there's no recipe for the madness as far as how I went ahead and bought PlayStation 4 game versus Xbox One game. It was mostly what was available, what was in stock, what was a lower price. So Wreckfest is I had a few racing games in here. I'm not a huge racing person, but if it's an obscure racing game, I'll look for it. But Wreckfest was one that I had interest in. Both Dishonored games. I actually have this. When I bought the second Dishonored, it comes with a digital version of this. So I just went ahead and got the physical version of that just because they're good games. Dishonored Death of the Outsider I never played before, but what I always look at that too is like I have the game, I can play it. It's not the case that I want, but like if I ever come across it again, I can always try to pick it up, try to remember to pick up the case and then just swap out the generic one. It's just part of collecting, and it's not a huge deal. Playing the game to me is the most important thing anyway. So Gravel, another racing game that's I don't know, one that was fairly decent racing game. It's not one that got a lot of praise, but I know it was fairly decent. Alien Isolation. I had the PlayStation 3 version, but I knew that if I actually wanted to sit down and play it in put more time into it, I didn't play the PlayStation 3 version of that very long, just because I know that they ported some of those games and it was probably a better experience on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So I finally picked it up. The whole point of buying some of these games are kind of filling in the gaps of games that I never ended up picking up. Some older, some not that older. Like the Vanquish Bayonetta Anniversary Bundle was I own both those games on different consoles, but both are great games. Vanquish was one of my more favorite games from the 360 era, and I've actually beat Vanquish twice since it came out. So it's an awesome game, great third-person shooter. Pretty sure Vanquish was made by the guy who was connected to some of the Resident Evil games. I know Resident Evil 4 he had a hand in. It might be Shinji Mikami, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Got some Yakuza games. I know that Yakuza was never really a huge series that I got into and never wanted to pay a tremendous amount of money for, but if I could get it for $10, I was gonna try to take advantage of it. So Yakuza Kiwami, I have Yakuza 0, and then I have this one, Kiwami. I have the Zombies one on PlayStation 3, which was a random game that I remember picking up and didn't cost that much, but I think it's sought after now. Overcooked 1 and 2, for $10, I thought that was a good price. Star Ocean was one that I continuously looked past and got other games before that, and then decided, Star Ocean would be one I could try to include in this big bundle that I was putting together to buy. So about $10 for that. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was a remastered port of, I forget where it originally came out. I remember playing back on the PC a similar Need for Speed, and this would have been like 20 years ago, 2001, 2002, that was similar to like a cops and robbers kind of game like this. So I had an interest in trying to go back to this and see what this is all about. Again, I'm all about like racing games that are just obscure, not just your standard Gran Turismo or I forget what the Xbox. Oh man, Forza. But some of these obscure racing games are interesting to play. I know Need for Speed's not really an obscure one, but this idea of like running away from the cops is an interesting kind of game to play. I was thinking about getting this for Switch, but then I think I remember it being pretty heavy with like a download, so I was like, no thank you. I got 2 PlayStation 3 Yakuzas, so I got Yakuza 3 and Yakuza 4. Yakuza 3 is the one that has not come yet. There's like, I think 3 games that I did not receive yet, and that was one of them. Zombie Army Trilogy, I bought this a year ago. Well, I bought the PlayStation. I originally got them on Steam years ago. Love those games. You had to buy them individually on Steam. Then when the PlayStation 4 came out, they made a Xbox One, PlayStation 4 had the trilogy version. Then when the Switch came out, they ported this, and then last summer I bought a imported version of this game to play on Switch. So the reason why I bought this one was if I can get rid of the PAL, there's like the PAL rating, it's kind of ugly looking symbol there, and then just get the North American version. This cost $12, I think. It was like $11.99 or $12, I think. And I was like, that's worth it. And then I can just take the PAL version one and then just put that in my pile to get rid of, like to kind of upgrade. Thief was an early Xbox One, PlayStation 4 game that I know it's not really the best game in the world, but I figured for I think it would have probably been around $2 or $3 in the total price in the end. That's okay. Those are some thrift store prices there. This Balan Wonderworld game was $19.99, surprisingly, and then the other versions of it, Switch, PlayStation 4, were a good bit higher. I think $24, almost $30, $24.99, $30. So the Xbox version was just under $19.99, so it worked with this sale, and then so I get that for $10. I know people were talking trash on this game, but for $10, I'll give it a shot. Death Stranding I didn't have. Again, just filling in the gaps for games, and I know Kojima's a interesting fella. But I never really kept huge tabs on this game. I know it was really an oddball game, but again, for $10, I will take it. Yakuza 6 was great that this came in like the slip cover, and kind of makes me believe that like some of these games, like an example like this, was probably in a large GameStop warehouse and it was never sold, and then they just took it from being like new. Like this claims to be new, but it's not shrink wrap new. But like this claims to be pre-owned, but probably was never sold. It just had a new sticker on, and they took the new sticker off, or if it might have a sticker underneath there. I'm not really looking that closely. I'm looking through the camera. A little disappointed in this because this is a newer game. This came out within like the last year or so, and this did not come in a case. So, and I missed the window because this was like priced at like $10, brand new for a little while, like on Best Buy and Amazon, and then I missed it and I couldn't get it for those prices brand new. But I just went ahead and got it in this deal, but came up a little short without getting a case there. And then this was an Amazon deal that I had saw it went as low as like $5 on Best Buy for like a deal of the day at some point in the last few weeks, months. But this got down to I think $10. I think I got it at $9.99 off Amazon. I know it's a different kind of Gears game. It basically is like playing XCOM. But for $10, I was gonna give it a chance. I was thinking it can't be as bad as Gears 5. Hopefully not. But this was like the video of $10 games, basically, like right around there. Yeah. So GameStop worked out to be fairly well. Spent about a little over $200 when you factor in that one. Not a bad investment. I'm sure that if I had to get rid of them down the road, I would probably be able to not lose too much money. Especially with some of the obscure games that probably hold their value. Who knows what Star Ocean kind of is a little hit or miss over the years with that series, but as far as being like a standout RPG. But anyway, tell me what you're playing lately, if there's any games in here that you like, and I will talk to you next time.